Hello, welcome to HITC Sport, and yes, this video was recorded before the Ireland versus Denmark game tonight, or last night, or whenever. As it stands, I have no idea what the result is or was, but I'm guessing that we beat them wholeheartedly. Tune in later this week to see my glorious reaction to this win. Right, for this video, let's take a look at every Premier League club, look at their best player, and see where they'll be in 5 years' time. Arsenal, Pierre-Emerick, Aubameyang, Dalian, Yifang. It's a bit worrying that Arsenal's best player by a country mile is 30 years of age. Yes, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang might spend every waking moment tossing himself off to the sounds of AFTV members butchering the English language, but still, I don't see him being in North London for much longer. Yes, he's the captain, but if they don't get Champions League football, forfeiting the top four to Leicester this time, he'll be off next summer, never mind 2024. I'm feeling this fella, who clearly splashes the cash, will be off to China, continuing to make 8-figure sums when he's 35. So yeah, I'm gonna say Dalian Yifang. The club, who are currently doing a great job of suffocating Yannick Carrasco's career, stuck in a team with Mark Hamsik and a bunch of Chinese nobodies, he's probably wishing he'd hired a different agent. Aston Villa, Jack Grealish, Leeds. Where is Jack Grealish going to be in 5 years? I know where I'd like him to be in 5 years. Stuck halfway down a well, struggling to get out. Being forced to live off a diet of that cow spunk he puts in his hair. But yeah, this is a bit of a weird one, isn't it? I can already hear your toenails turning black. Indignant at such a horrendous prediction.
Jack Grealish at Leeds? Sorry, Irish guy, but I'm pretty sure his agent doesn't have brain damage.
Listen, alright, yes, Grealish has it in him to get himself a move to a half-decent Premier League team. Maybe an Everton or a Spurs, maybe. But in 5 years, he'll be 29. By then, he'll have been spat back out by a Europa League contender, and you would imagine Leeds would by then have established themselves as a mid-table Premier League club. You would hope so for their own sake, for the love of God. So yeah, why not? Grealish to Leeds, and hopefully going to his grave having been capped less times than Shane McGowan has brushed his teeth. Bournemouth, Callum Wilson, Bournemouth. In 5 years' time, Callum Wilson will be 32 years old, and not a chance and a cat's left bollock will he still be in the England squad. And you know what? He won't be in the Premier League either. Not a chance. The lad will... I'm gonna say he'll be loyal. He'll stick it out with Bournemouth and will be coming up to a decade at the club. But they'll be bottom half of the championship, slowly counting down the days until relegation back to League One. Sorry, Bournemouth, alright, nothing against you, but you have a stadium the size of an airport toilet. I'm sorry lads, but it's only a matter of time before you go back to where you once came. Just ask Wigan Athletic. Brighton, PASCAL, Gross, Fortuna, Dusseldorf. I don't know, does anyone actually care where PASCAL Gross is going to end up in 2025? I don't think so, right? The lad will be 33 years old. Let's take a look at a similar player who was ripping up the Premier League at the age of 28. Yeah, 5 years later, young Kabai is now slumming it on the Saint Etienne bench, fresh from downing his career in a tub of cash out of the back arse of guitar. Sorry girls, alright, but by 2025, you'll be stapled to the bench of Fortuna Dusseldorf, halfway down Germany's second tier. Prove me wrong, alright? Prove me wrong, Pascal, but all jokes aside, I will most likely have forgotten who the hell you are by then. That is, if I'm still alive. I mean, ringworm is no laughing matter. Burnley, Dwight McNeil, Tottenham. I actually think this kid has a pretty big future. Ripping it up in the Burnley first team, you know what, by 2024, this lad is probably going to be lining week in, week out for someone like Spurs. Dare I say it, he's the natural heir to Dele Alli. He'll probably be a £50 million player by then too. Chelsea and N'Golo Kante, Monaco. Let's be honest, there's no standout player for Chelsea these days. No Eden Hazard, so I guess N'Golo Kante is probably their best. A World Cup winner, 2-time Premier League champion, terrific player, but lads, he is 28 years old. It feels like he should be younger, doesn't it? Probably due to the fact that he was still playing amateur football in his early 20s. I don't think he'll end up at Real Madrid or Barcelona though. I think that ship has sailed a bit, and I think Chelsea is his peak. This is the biggest club he will ever play for. He's not the type to agitate for a move. He seems like a lovely lad. But by 2024, he'll be 33 years old. I'd imagine a return to France via someone like Monaco by then, who will probably be Europa League regulars. Crystal Palace, WILFRIED, ZAHA, Everton. Okay, let's be honest. WILFRIED ZAHA is on his way out of Crystal Palace. Surely, I mean, it's now or never. He's 27. He's outgrown the club. Of course he has. Because of his age and price, the ship has probably sailed with regards to a Champions League move. But once Everton sober up and realise that they've just chucked £30 million on Alex Iwobi down the shower drain, they'll probably return for ZAHA next summer. And so yeah, in 5 years time, he'll probably just be finishing up at Goodison Park at the ripe old age of 32. Let's hope they finally manage to crack the top four by then. Everton, Richarlison, Atletico Madrid. You can just see this one, can't you? Lads, I know most of you will have forgotten by then, in the year 24, 25, when most of you will by then have jobs, mortgages and wife and kids. Actually, more to think of it, there's some of you in the comments that will probably still be stuck in their mother's basement. But lads, you have my word, if Richarlison spends his entire career at Everton, I will personally swallow a plate full of squirrel poo. And finally, this is one stupid prediction that won't come back to bite me. Finally, I can say what I want with no repercussions. But listen, Richarlison's 22, but he's already moved 4 times. Clearly, he has no qualms with jumping ship. Give it a few years and I wouldn't be surprised to see the Brazilian international ending up in sunny Spain. just like the rest of them. Probably for Atletico Madrid. The collection dump for anyone not quite good enough for Barca or Real. Leicester, James Maddison, Man United. I've said this before, James Maddison has Manchester United written all over him. For God's sake, I think he'll wind up at Old Trafford next summer. Never mind 5 years. By 2025, the lad will be in his prime and running the show at Old Trafford. Honestly, remember this. I feel like I'm 100% right with this one. I can feel it. Liverpool, Mo Salah, Inter Milan. Liverpool fans are just going to crucify me at the stake for this one, aren't they? I'm sorry, lads, but no, I don't think Mo Salah is going to spend 7 years at Anfield. What world-class player does? Aside from Steven Gerrard, name me just one world-class player has lasted that long at your club. I'd be surprised if you can find one inside the last 20 bastard years. Anyway, you should hope your team is in good enough shape by then that you don't need to be relying on a 32-year-old winger anyway. I think by then he'll have returned to the slower pace of Italian football, probably squeezing the last morsels of energy out of his legs at someone like Inter Milan. And if you think that's unrealistic, lads, just think how good Alexis Sanchez was doing 5 years ago, alright? It happens. Man City, Kevin De Bruyne, Man City. I think in 5 years, Kevin De Bruyne is probably going to be in the same situation as David Silva is now. 33 years old, sitting on the Man City bench, winding down the days, hours and minutes left on his contract. Like Silva, De Bruyne is unquestionably one of the greatest minds the Premier League has ever seen. And to think Chelsea left him to rot in the cupboard under the kitchen sink, for the love of God. Man United, David De Gea, PSG. Yeah, I know. David De Gea just signed a 6-year contract worth 117 million quid. I know. But lads, let's be honest here. We all know there's not a chance he's going to see that one out. It's not a good sign when the lad has been stalling on deals for years, openly pining for Spain and probably cursing the very invention of the fax machine. Do I think David De Gea will spend 14 years of his life at Old Trafford, becoming the longest serving goalie at that club since Alex Stepney in the 60s, during one of Manchester United's most turbulent periods for decades? No, never, not a hope. By 2024, De Gea will be nowhere near Old Trafford, probably fighting for Champions Leagues at PSG, who will surely be in the market for a goalie soon enough. Newcastle, ALLAN, Saint-MAXIMINS, Marseille. I mean, why not? Nearly every other half-decent Newcastle winger seems to end up back in France, and most of the time at Marseille. ALLAN Saint-Maximin is undoubtedly a top player, but judging by his end product, he's not getting a move to a Champions League club anytime soon. Marseille will probably be his level. Norwich, Teemu Pukki, Brøndby. Oh, Teemu, you should feel happy and lucky that I'm choosing Brøndby for you. Judging by your poor performances in the last 2 months, you should feel relieved that in 5 years I'm not predicting you to be lining up for your local Asda 7-a-side. In 5 years, the lad will be 34 years old. I think you're safe to say this is probably the first, last and only time we'll ever see this man in the Premier League. Yeah, why not? Stuck on the Brøndby bench in 2025. Southampton, Nathan Redmond, Birmingham. If you're a bang average Premier League winger during your peak, then the obvious evolution for you when you're in your 30s is the Championship. Just ask Stuart Downing. Most bang average Premier League wingers, by the time they're in their 30s, they end up in the second tier. Either that or jail. I could have chosen someone like Preston or Hull, but considering Nathan Redmond once wrote a virtual love letter to Birmingham fans when he left, where he said the club would remain etched in his heart and soul for life, yeah, why not? He'll end up back there, I'd say. Sheffield United, Dean Henderson, Man United. In Dean Henderson's own head, he will be starting week in, week out for Manchester United by the time he's 27. You know what? Yeah, okay. I'll give you that one. I could be mean and, see him relegated to someone like Watford, considering the fate of that club's string of bench-warming English keepers. But alright, okay, you're 22 and you're doing alright with Sheffield United at the moment. You're also in the England squad. It's not unheard of that you'll soon be Man United's number one. Why not? Tottenham, Harry Kane, Tottenham. Well, I think the ship has sailed on those dream moves to Real Madrid, Barcelona. I don't think Harry Kane will move to anyone else in England. So yeah, I guess all that's left to do is just cement your legacy at Spurs, try to topple Shearer's all-time goal-scoring record. Yeah, in 5 years, Kane will be 31, still at Spurs, edging closer to that record, and possibly having a statue put up outside the ground. Let's hope for his own sake he might have actually won a goddamn trophy by then. For Christ's sake, you're one of the world's best strikers, and you have a trophy cabinet more empty than my fridge. Watford, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Rennes. Alright, spoiler, Abdoulaye Doucouré. You're not going to get that move to PSG, alright? That ship has also sailed. In 5 years, he'll just be a few weeks off his 32nd birthday. So yeah, halfway down the French league, back at Rennes. It makes sense. West Ham, Declan Rice, Chelsea. Well, considering Declan Rice possesses all the loyalty of a Geordie Shore housemate, then yeah, why not move back across West London? Rice came through the ranks at Stamford Bridge. They'll need a replacement for Kante. He's seemingly married at the hip to Mason Mount. Yeah, why not? £50 million signing. Not sure if he'll be able to pass the medical, what with his black heart. Wolves, Ruben Neves, Inter Milan. If Ruben Neves ends up spending 7 years at Wolves, I will eat a bowl of pig kidneys. You have my word on that, lads. It is not going to happen. Inter Milan, who look like they're finally getting their act together after a decade of disappointment. Yeah, I can see them snapping this lad up sooner or later, especially considering how hung up they were at Luka Modric last year. So that's the end of the video, lads. Go on, tell me how wrong I am and how I know absolutely nothing. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.